I found all my clients on LinkedIn, and within the first 6 weeks, I was generating $6,000 a month. By the end of that year, I was generating six figures. And I figured out two things. Number one,
Rhonda Sher is a LinkedIn expert, business networking strategist, the creator of Sher Method. She's known for helping entrepreneurs go from being invisible to unforgettable.
people are 2 times more likely to believe what they see on LinkedIn than any other platform. Here's a little secret.
You have a method that works.
Absolutely.
So talk us through the Sher Method.
There's 3 steps. The first step is the first P, which is presentation. The second step is prospecting.
And what was the third P?
Profit. That's where the money comes in. You have conversations that convert to connections that convert to cash.
Super excited. Rhonda, thank you for being here. What a pleasure to now share with
I'm
you.
super excited to be with you.
We're going to share everything you did for us.
Absolutely. Whatever it is that you want to know, I will take you behind the curtain and I will show you all the tips, all the things that most people don't know about LinkedIn that will take you what I call from invisible to irresistible.
And I do want, and I'm going to say this, I want you to expose kind of the ugly that we were doing on our side, which you said, well, yeah, a lot of people are doing that and that and that. And I'm like, really? Like, I thought we were doing pretty well. And then you really did. You kind of like put the list together and I'm like, oh, we need to do something here. But before we get into any of that, I love your story, your relaunch story about how you were able to utilize LinkedIn to literally, it is an impactful change of life. So share with us that story.
So it really is. I was married in 1980. And when I got married to the guy that I met when I was like 15, my husband said to me, I have one request. I go, what's that? Now, he said, please don't make more money than me. Now, I know that sounds really horrible. And I have 2 daughters. And if anybody ever said that to them, they would tell them to run, not walk. Okay.
Exactly.
But but for me, this was back in 1980, right? The reality is that wasn't all that strange. You know, I had a mom that my father didn't want to work because he thought that meant he couldn't support the family. Well, we were married for 28 years. And like I said, we have 2 girls right now. They're 33 and 35. And at 28 years, you talk about relaunch, right? I swear my mom passed away. Nobody was hiring speakers. We short sailed a house. I had a cancer scare. And my husband and I decided to divorce. And
those are those you get knocked down, you can't get up again. Like, okay, boom, massive relaunches.
And I thought to myself, okay, here I am in my 50s. What am I going to do? I'm going to be one of those supermarket greeters. That's going to be me, right? And then I remembered that I had a superpower. I knew how to use LinkedIn. I had already written a book on it in 2009. And so what I did, Hilary, is I went out and I got my life insurance license because I knew that I could make money relaunching myself into life insurance. And what I did was I used LinkedIn. So I found all my clients on LinkedIn, and within the first 6 weeks, I was generating $6,000 a month. By the end of that year, just using LinkedIn, I was generating six figures. And I figured out 2 things. Number one, I didn't love selling life insurance. And number 2, I had created a system that anybody could duplicate because I was going to the mortgage people on LinkedIn, creating relationships and getting them to introduce me to the people that they knew that needed my product. So fast forward to 2016, actually Valentine's Day weekend. And I remarried my ex-husband. But we got married the second time. He said, I have one request. I said, okay, what's that? He said, please make more money than me.
Make more money. That's a good thing now. He understood it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And believe it or not, I was able, using LinkedIn, to retire him 5 years ago. So and he had a big corporate job. And I like to say I have a husband, a wasband, didn't have to change my name. The kids are ours. And I gave birth to the Sher Method, which for the last 5 years has been allowing him to go swimming every day, go to the gym, and live the amazing life that he likes being retired, and allows me to impact lives in a way that I never thought would be possible.
So
There you go.
before we go into anything else, I know that people are thinking, all right, you're telling me I can make money. I can actually, put my husband out to pasture if I want to and have him retire. And you have a method that actually you have crafted that works over and over for your clients.
Absolutely.
So let's just dive right in and talk about, first off, you basically just picked any industry, right? You're like, okay, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like some expert in a certain industry. You can do this whether you're a startup or whether you've been around for a while, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay. So talk us through, the Sher method. What is it first?
So there's 3 steps. The first step is the first P, which is presentation. How are you showing up? Are you showing up like the professional you are? Or are you in the LinkedIn Witness Protection Program? Nobody's ever going to find you. So that's the presentation. And we can talk about the steps that go into your profile, because so many people miss out on the most important parts. Like they have a banner that's
No,
empty.
don't go into quite yet. I want to keep going with the Sher
Okay.
method. 3 steps, and then
All
we
right.
will for sure go into all of that. But I want people to realize there is a method to creating revenue. But the revenue, let's say you're like, I'm not looking for the revenue in this. I want to become more visible. More visible means more revenue. It all comes back to more revenue. More revenue you make, the more impact you make. That's the bottom goal of being in business. So it all ties together. So first step is really the presentation.
The presentation. The second step is prospecting, but not in the way that is sleazy, the spraying and praying. Prospecting in the way where I see the posts that you put out there, really great posts, good value. What about when you comment on somebody's post? When somebody comments, I know you look at the posts, Hilary, the comments of people. Well, when you reach out to them, since only 1% of people are posting, you are actually bringing attention to yourself. You're creating an opportunity for conversations. So prospecting can be anything from commenting on posts, posting, putting your newsletter, reconnecting with your first level connections. Think about it. How many thousands and hundreds of people are you connected to that you've never had a conversation with? And yet, one conversation could open the door to so many things.
Okay, hold on. You're going so fast, and I want to make sure everyone heard that. 1% of people are posting.
You bet. And there's a billion people on LinkedIn.
1%. So if you posted once a week, you're already doing far more than 99% of the people out there. I really want people to hear that. That was like mind blowing for me. Okay. So then we've got presentation, we've got prospecting. And what was the third P?
Profit. That's where the money comes in. Because really the truth is you have conversations that convert to connections that convert to cash.
Yeah.
And as somebody with a black belt in shopping, trust me, I know that it's all about the relationships that convert to the revenue. It's about the people.
So it also, now that we've had the 3 Ps, I want to go back and dive into each of the areas. And the first one was, presentation. And from the very second we started talking, you said, hey, first impression is so important. And we understand that when we're meeting people in person. But you started to tell me more about like, most people don't realize their LinkedIn profile is what shows up first in Google. That's the first thing people are finding. So tell us about how we can look at our profile and kind of give ourselves an assessment on, is this a good first impression?
Well, the best thing that I would do is a little bit of market research. Ask somebody that knows you, somebody that you respect, and they know what you do professionally, to look at your profile. And based on what they know about you, ask them if, based on what they see in that profile, if they would refer you. Because if there's a disconnect between what they know about you, maybe it's even your website, and how you're showing up on LinkedIn, there's a good chance that trust factor isn't going to be there, because LinkedIn is really the number one source that people trust. People are 2 times more likely to believe what they see on LinkedIn than any other platform.
Okay, I'm going to
2
ask
times
I'm
more
going to
likely.
I'm going to ask a dumb question, and I don't know if I know it or not, but it's not coming to me right now. When we talk about verified, is there a verified type of thing in LinkedIn that legitimizes you even more? Or are you just saying, hey, basic profile, people are going to trust that far more than any other source?
No, that's a great question. LinkedIn actually has a system where you are verified. And so, as long as your name that's on your profile is the same name that appears on your driver's license, you can go through LinkedIn's system to get verified. And it's all done through, it's encoded. So nobody else is going to get your information. It's private. But what it says is you're a real person and LinkedIn has verified you. So if I'm going to do business, do business with you,
Yeah,
I feel a lot better if I know that person has actually been verified.
completely. I like that. And so you also mentioned something that I found super interesting. First off, you just said, get a friend. Would they refer you based on what you're putting in there? There's so many uses of AI right now. Could you technically just put everything in your LinkedIn profile in AI and say, give me a score here. How could I make this more like I'm likable, like I trust, you're trustworthy? Could you do that?
You could, but here's the thing. Is ChatGPT going to hire you? No. ChatGPT eliminates the human touch, right?
Right.
The like, no trust factor. So could ChatGPT give you some suggestions to improve it? Absolutely. But ChatGPT is not going to write you a check and hire you. So I would really go to somebody and say, look, you know what? Tell me the truth. What do you think? And here's a great example. Many years ago, I did a training for Remax. These were the top leaders in Remax. This was in the days when you were actually live before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I said, is there anybody here that has ever lost a deal because of their LinkedIn profile? And a woman raised her hand, this beautiful woman, and she said to me, I have been doing this for 40 years. I went on a listing in Newport Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were considering somebody else. I was completely prepared. I knew the other person. I knew that I had much more experience, and I didn't get the listing. And I was actually just shocked. So I called the woman and I asked her, I said, I'm just curious, why did you pick the other agent?
Yeah.
And the woman said, oh, my son looked at your LinkedIn and said I couldn't hire you.
We don't realize how powerful they are. We don't. I want to ask you, what are the biggest mistakes that you see people making right now with their profile? Just like the top ones that you're like, whoa, let's stop. We got to change that right away.
Yeah. So number one is the banner. Now your banner is, I did it, but your banner is
I was going to
exemplary.
say,
Why?
well, let's talk about what it was before and what you did to change it and why you did it, because these are the things you should be focused on in your banner.
So in your case, your banner has the clients that have hired you,
Mm.
who you're trusted by. It doesn't say, look at me. It says, this is what I can do. And this is why you should hire me. It's that third party proof. And it's completely consistent with all your branding on every platform that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So simply by going to Canva, you can get a banner that will be consistent, help you show up in a way where people know, oh, okay. And immediately there's trust. So the banner is the first thing. The picture is the second thing. Keep in mind, this is not match.com. You need a current picture that's you, not an AI picture. That's you, because chances are you're going to meet that person on Zoom or in person. So make sure it looks like you. And then the headline, that's one of the biggest things. So here's a little secret. If you don't put a headline on LinkedIn, LinkedIn gives you one. They give you your job title. How many profiles have you seen, Hilary, that say founder? Which find? President. What if you look at a headline and it actually says the services that you offer? It has information. You use every single character there. The headline is key because that's how you get found. And then the other thing that I would say is your contact information.
So wait.
I can,
When you talk about that headline, this I found fascinating when you first said it. That if you don't put something in there, LinkedIn is going to fill in the blank for you. But you had something really interesting that you said where is this where the he, the she, the her, the there,
oh,
like, is that the part?
yeah.
Because I got to tell you, that stood out. And not, if people may want to use that. That is terrific. But there's an alternate way to leverage it as well.
So this is a hack. So if you go into your contact information, it says pronouns. Now, if you want to be a she, her, or a they, them, great. But if you don't, and you really want to take advantage of the keywords, you can just go down to where it says custom. And after custom, put your keyword. So mine says LinkedIn trainer. Okay. And again, why would I want to have she, her at my age if you can't figure it out? Right. But there are people that do like those pronouns, and I respect
But I
that.
think what
And
you're
that's
doing is
awesome.
you're saying there are key positions on your profile that you can really leverage, change it to fit your need, whatever the need is. You may say that
Uh-huh.
does, so use it, but you can change it and you can go check out, what was put on mine. And I highly recommend it, because I would just look and start with the process of like, wow, what are you doing? Because Rhonda changed a tremendous amount. And I always thought like, yeah, mine's fine. Like, I think it's good. And then I started to hear her and I remember just thinking like, wow, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You've helped so many people right now. And what are the visual or content cues that signal, because you keep talking trust, what are those that signal it within seconds?
Well, here's the thing. Most people leave out the featured section. They don't even know that there's a featured section. Now, what if in the featured section you had testimonials of your clients, people actually talking about the benefits of what they got from Relaunch, from working with you, right? It's that voice, that person that you can see actually talking about it. What if you had case studies? No names needed, just this was the challenge, these were the steps, this was the outcome, right? Or maybe you have an offer where you want people to come and book time with you, whether it's free or paid. You have 3 spaces right there that are at the very top of your
Mm.
profile that you can put whatever you want. I recommend that you change it around. Sometimes in mine, I have enroll in my newsletter. Other times, somebody gave me a great testimonial, so I'll feature that. And that's the best place for the visuals to be able to see what you want them to see. You're in charge.
See, this is where you start to think like, wow, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But as you're helping like all these people change it so that bottom line, it's going to impact their revenue. What exactly should your LinkedIn profile include specifically to position you as a leader in the space? What is it? What absolutely are the must-haves?
Well, number one, recommendations. Even though they're at the bottom of your profile, they need to be current. And the best way to get somebody's attention, if you just want to jump a toe into the prospect space, is give somebody an unsolicited recommendation, right? When somebody gives you a recommendation, it's like walking out of your car and finding a $100 bill on the ground. Like, whoa, this is amazing. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go look at their profile. So it's really important to have current recommendations, both giving and receiving. The other thing, and this is where I find most people fall off, is the contact information. There's no email,
Mm.
there's no phone number. You think they're going to go to your website. Well, guess what? When they go to your website, they're not coming back to LinkedIn.
Mm.
And how many websites have you seen that are easy to find the contact information? Most of them have a contact form. They don't have the phone number there.
Exactly.
So you want to make it really easy for people. And then the about section is really where you do it in first person. I remember we changed yours because you were in third person. And you put it in first person. And the first 2 or 3 lines are the most important, Hilary, because after the first 2 or 3 lines, which is all that shows up when you're first looking, you see these 2 words: see more, click. So what if instead of saying, I'm passionate about ... you say, thousands of entrepreneurs have worked with me to relaunch their lives and get dot, dot, dot. Now, all of a sudden, wait, thousands? Entrepreneurs? And this is the result? Way more powerful than hearing, I'm passionate about changing the lives of. So those first few lines where you get them at hello, and then make sure, here's the other thing too. A lot of us are a little bit older and we don't read run-on sentences. So put it in blocks. Make it easy to read because we're really seeing it on our phone. About 70% of people are actually on a mobile when they're looking. So make it,
70% are looking, if they're going to look at your LinkedIn. So you really have to be looking at it through that lens.
yeah.
And
You
I do
really
want to
do.
go, I do want to go back because for those that are going to be checking it out, Rhonda and I have literally, a month ago just finished this. And one of the things that I never really thought about was asking for when people go through our programs or one-on-one coaching, hey, would you write a testimonial? Will you get on LinkedIn? And I'm in the process now. So I didn't have, I mean, I had very few because I didn't think that that was that big a deal, right? I never even really thought
Yep.
about it. I didn't. And I got some random ones on there and I'm like, okay. And I remember you saying, you got to ask. And you said, go and give somebody else and then they'll do reciprocity. But also we just sometimes forget to ask. And that was
You
a big
do.
one for me. I'm like, I should be asking at the end of every one of our courses. Like, why not? People are getting these massive, massive breakthroughs. It's the time to ask.
It is. And whenever you hear anybody say anything nice, they say, oh my God, Hilary, that made such a difference. That was game changing. That was life changing. What I do is I train people to say, it would mean the world to me if you would write a LinkedIn recommendation for me, or just let me record you saying that. And here's the little hack, right? Most people don't check LinkedIn every day. Every day you check your email. Probably a day doesn't go by that you don't check email, but
Mhm.
or maybe 1 or 2 days, but LinkedIn, people don't necessarily get on there every single day. So when you are sending a request for a recommendation or you're giving one, what you do is grab that little URL at the top and send that person an email. So if I'm going to ask for a recommendation from you, what I'll do
Mhm.
is I'll do it on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
but then I'll send you an email and I'll say, Hilary, I've sent you a link. Here it is, requesting that you write me a recommendation. It would mean the world to me. Now, people are busy. We all know that, right? What you can do is go to our good friend ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT all the cool things that you want to say, and ask ChatGPT to take your words and put it in a well-crafted recommendation. And then I'll send it to you and I'll say, Hilary, I took the liberty of writing. Feel free to use this or write your own. Either way, I have so much gratitude for you doing this, and send it off. And all they have to do is click within the email and they can go right to where it is.
Yeah, I think that that's the key. How do you make this as easy for them as possible? And I have noticed when people do that and they want me to, give them a recommendation and they send me something, I just look at it and I'm like, does this sound like me? Okay, well, let me change this around a bit. It just makes it so easy. It takes 30 seconds for me then to say, here's what I really want to say about you. Boom, send it off. And is there like a number if you were starting out right now and you want to build up that section? How many do you need?
I would say 5, really, as long as they're current.
Okay.
That's the thing. They need to be
Okay.
they need to be relative to what you are currently doing. I've seen people that have 30 or 40 and they have nothing to do with what they're currently doing. So that
Don't go
doesn't
look at
give
mine
me.
again. Uh-oh. I'm putting it on my list for the next few days. I'm going to literally reach out to people and say, please do this because I know you told me to do it. And then I just realized I hadn't. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. But wait, if you had just 15 minutes to optimize your profile right now, what part should you focus on first? What is the number one section that you're like, you got to nail this?
Your headline.
And then
It's your
how do
headline.
you,
That's what people are
and,
going to see.
and what's the best way to do your headline? What does it have to have? What is it like? Are there certain words? Are there a limited amount of words? Like, what
Yeah.
would you
So
do?
here's the secret sauce. Okay. What I like to say is I just actually got off a call with somebody, and this person was a private investigator. Amazing, really, really qualified guy. And his LinkedIn profile just had a lot of words on it, but it didn't really say that he had done thousands of investigations. So the way that it should start is hundreds of attorneys and individuals have hired me to get asset information, dot, dot, dot. So what did I do? I said how many, what they did, and what the result was, right? So whatever it is that you do, you want to be able to qualify it. And if you're a beginner, maybe you're just new, maybe you are relaunching.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to put a number. You can say, women hire me to learn how to have a. Just spoke to a woman the other day. This woman teaches you how to go through menopause without drugs. Okay. Which saves marriages. Right?
Yes, it would. It's a big deal, everyone.
So the secret to it is putting in what it is you do, who you serve, the result, and then I like to put in something that just gives people a way to have a conversation. So I change mine around, like once in a while, let's say crossword puzzle addict, or at one point I think I said black belt in shopping because that got people, kind of curious.
Yeah.
Dog mom, whatever. But again, this is all about relationships. So you want to have a point to have something to ask that person about.
So let me ask you, something just came up for me. If you change, because I know on some platforms, if you change something, does it automatically get sent out to everybody in your profile that, hey, we've just updated something?
So I love that question. It's one of my favorite hacks. It only changes in the experience section or the education. Okay. So imagine you want inbound leads. All right. Because prospecting goes both ways. I can reach out, but what if I want it inbound? So maybe you're launching a course. Maybe you're having an amazing event like you are. What you do is you put that event first, and then there's a little green button, and you turn it on, and it lets your network know. So you're the driver. You can decide whether you want people to know. And that's how you do it. I had a client, Hilary, that got 200 inbound, okay, people that had, out of all of the people that congratulated him on what they thought was a new job, but really wasn't. He then reached out to them and got 200 calls booked with him. Can you imagine? From just flipping that switch?
Okay, so why wouldn't I, knowing I have this event, and hopefully this question's great for everyone else, why wouldn't I every few days switch it up a bit so that it goes back out with something like this speaker's now speaking, or this is another massive conversation piece that we're going to be going into? Or is there a limit to like, hey, you don't want to do that because you're going to, burn out your list? Or what, is there something there? Am I thinking?
Yeah, so I wouldn't do it that way. What I would do is I would change it like maybe once a week where you're adding something new. Okay, I wouldn't do it daily. I'd also go to your network and use these words. Hey, I could really use your help, right? Sure, what do you need? Would you mind just sharing this? And then all of a sudden it becomes like the domino effect because you're asking for help. Using a LinkedIn newsletter. Now, here's a little tip. LinkedIn newsletters, when you do the first one, and you can have up to 4. Right now, it changes all the time. What if you created a newsletter and the first time you do it, LinkedIn sends it out to your entire list? Now, my list of followers is almost 35,000 people. That's why I have almost 5,000 people on my newsletter list. How cool is that? And then after the first time, they have subscribed. So now they're going to get notice every time you put out a new issue.
This is so good. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, have we really been live for 32 minutes? And we've got so many more areas to go in. So I'm going to go rapid fire here because I want to make sure that people get as much out. But again, you are going to be one of our headline speakers at the event. Why? Because we haven't even gone into the revenue aspect of it. How do you actually get the profits around it? But let's go here really fast. I am getting inundated with people sending me these, like, it looks so generic, these salesy, hey, so nice to meet you. Want to talk. I mean, they're so generic. All I want to do is be like, no, I don't. Is there a way to actually do this that is not salesy? That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, I want to answer that. I want to meet Rhonda and I want to have like a chat with her.
So all of that is what I call noise. When you're sitting at the dentist's office and they have that terrible music in the background, you don't even hear it, right? It's just
Yes.
noise.
Yes.
But you want to get somebody's attention. Well, the way that you get attention is with video. So what you do after you've connected with somebody is you send them a video. Maybe they liked my post or somebody liked your post, and it's somebody I want to get to know, right? And so what I would do is I would send a video and I would say, hey, Hilary, I know we're connected, but I saw that you liked so-and-so's post, right? Would it make sense for us to jump on a call to learn how we could support each other? I promise we'll keep it in the no sales zone. So now I'm inviting you on a call in a video. I'm going to drop a link to my Calendly. Now, if we're not connected, okay,
And wait,
I'm going to
are you
send you.
saying the video is actually part of LinkedIn, that you can do the video right there?
You can integrate the video with, I use Dub,
Okay.
and Dub integrates with LinkedIn.
Okay.
Now, when you're sending the initial connection request, I don't recommend using Dub, but I'll give you the magic words. And the magic words are, hey, Hilary, I saw that you liked Kristen's post about XYZ. She's amazing. Looks like we also share some common connections. Would it make sense for us to connect? And then if you have enough space, what I would put is, P.S. I know about this amazing organization that you might want to learn about. Happy to make an introduction. Whatever it is, just put a P.S. Now you stand out, because I've never seen anybody else that puts a P.S. on a request to connect.
That's really good. But you're telling us to do a lot of different things on there. How much time do you need to spend on LinkedIn? You say we check our emails multiple times a day.
Right.
What do we really need to do to make it valuable for us?
So I recommend that you do schedule all your posting. LinkedIn has an internal scheduler. So do all your posting, at night, on the weekends, whenever you want, and then spend 30 minutes a day.
Okay,
And the
but Rhonda,
majority of that,
how often are you supposed to post? With only, 1% of people posting, how often should you post?
I would do 3 to 5 times a week.
Wow, okay. 3 to 5
But
times.
but keep in mind,
Uh-huh.
you have your good friend ChatGPT, all of the AI tools. So it's not like you have to write a book.
Yeah.
You just have to have a good hook and a good call to action, right?
Yep.
And a little secret, you know which posts do the best? The ones that actually have you in the photo and you're talking about something personal. Put a pet in there, put a picture of your kids.
Okay. I was going to try to start wrapping up, but I do have to ask this. People, I feel some of the posts I'm reading lately are, I may have like a bias here, but I feel like it should be on Facebook. What is this new thing where everyone is they're going so personal in the LinkedIn? And is it really acceptable on a broad note?
Not when they do it for the purpose of sharing, okay?
Mhm.
It's not like I care what you had for lunch, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But if your picture is with your children or your dog
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to an event and you can tie that to how you do things in business, then it absolutely makes sense. When I have 2 anniversaries, remember I married the same guy twice, so I have an anniversary in October and an anniversary in February.
That's
I post a
awesome.
picture of me in 1980. You wouldn't even recognize me. I was like a skinny brunette. And then I show the picture of me in 2016. But that post isn't about marrying the same guy twice. You know what that post is about? Second chances.
Mm.
And I tell the story of how you can have second chances. And that's what people relate to. How many people start new careers and they do it late in life? Well, but what's the eye catcher? Married the same guy twice and being
Right.
vulnerable and being real, right? So
Mm.
that's the kind of stuff, not the stuff where I don't want to hear your life story. Okay. I want to hear how it ties in to how it's going to help me. because it's always about what's in it for your audience. It's not about you just sharing. So there's two schools of thought on that. And I'm big on being somewhat vulnerable,
Yep.
but always tying it to something that's relatable to what is in your business.
Well, I remember one of the top posts that I ever did was Christmas Eve a couple years ago. One of my employees did that whole drop quit. Like I'm quitting and I'm quitting. Today's my last day, not even like the 2 weeks. And I just was like, when things like this happen, how do you do? Like, what do you do? And it is that process of the relaunch effect and how you handle it when you know, like, okay, nothing you can do. Her choice. She could do whatever she wants. Did she handle it right? In my perspective, no. But I went and I explained and I said, I'm sure many of you have had something like this happen. And here is a way to relaunch through it. So it went ding, ding, ding. What you just explained, spot on. This is so good. And it's going to help. I'm going to try to do this myself as we're moving forward here. So I'm going to tag you and say, how'd I do? But Rhonda, thank you for being here. And so much gold today. And, for those tuning in, really, how good. And this is what you can expect at the event. Every single person is going to be bringing their A game about how do we get you there faster and be able to have you leverage what people are saying, how they are reacting. And let's just say you have, 100 to 150 people that are coming to our Relaunch to a Rich Life in Scottsdale, September 18th, 19th, and 20th. Well, you're going to be connecting with them. And Rhonda's going to give you the way to do this in the best fashion of being able to connect with them, because then guess what happens? It opens up who they're connected with. And there's this whole like trickle down effect. So super excited to have you there. And we have barely even it's like not even the cherry on this Sunday. We have the whole rest of the Sunday to go to. And Rhonda, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be
My
there.
pleasure.
And one of the things,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, and one of the things that I wanted to say is that not only are you going to be there, but you're also going to be part of an opportunity to literally have your profile reviewed by you. I mean, that's what changed everything about what happened with me. And I'm like, I need to hire you immediately right now. So that is going to be an opportunity. It's the Relaunch to a Rich Life event is 2 transformational days where you're going to get to literally, it's relaunching health, wealth, and relationships, scaling all of them. So whether you're in a relaunch, like Rhonda was saying, you're going from one industry to another, you're going up leveling your health, up leveling your relationships, more importantly, scaling for that impact we kept talking about, right? More revenue, more impact, more revenue. That's what we're all going to be tying it in. So as a thank you for joining today, we're going to give you an exclusive $200 off our VIP ticket right now. And that will bring it down a couple $100, $197 right now, because it's still early bird. So it's only available until August 16th. All right, August 16th, and then it goes away. So you can go to Relaunch, I think it's just therelaunch.com, it's in events, or you can go to Relaunch to a Rich Life. And here's the key to get that $200, level up. That is the code that will give you the $200 off, level up. And if you have any questions, reach out to me on LinkedIn and I will go ahead and respond. So thank you again, Rhonda. A pleasure as always. I actually took notes. I learned from you every single time.
Thanks, Hilary. It's really been fun. I look forward to September.
Me too, in person. Woo! Let's do this.
That'll be great.
Wow. What a conversation. Rhonda Sher has once again shown us how powerful LinkedIn can be when you use it with intention, strategy, and authenticity. If you're feeling inspired and ready to level up your visibility, credibility, and revenue, don't miss what's ahead. Rhonda will be joining us live in Scottsdale, Arizona this September at Relaunch to a Rich Life Live, along with so many other dynamic speakers. This is going to help elevate your income and influence your impact So visit relaunchtoarichlife.com and secure your spot. This is your opportunity to join a room filled with planners, dreamers, high achievers, ready to relaunch their rich lives. So if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit subscribe so that you'll never miss a conversation. And if you're feeling inspired, I'd love it if you could take a moment to rate and review the show. It really does help us reach more incredible women just like you who are ready to relaunch into their rich life. And don't forget, share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or anyone you know who could use a little extra momentum right now. You can always find me over at therelaunch.com or Instagram at Hilary DeCesare, where I like to share more tools, strategies, and yes, the stories to help you elevate your income, your influence, and most importantly, your impact. Until next time, keep relaunching into your rich life.